Oh, uh, I don't know what that was. If I didn't know I was recording so early. Sorry about that. Anyway, I was just sitting here normally. Let's just leave it at that. We're doing the Royal Rumble reviews, and guess what? We're out to 2009 from the old Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Now they have the Little Caesars Pizza Arena because the owner of the Red Wings is also owner of Little Caesars down there. And anyway, it's a brand new rink in Detroit. It's where the Red Wings play now. But this was back in 2009. And if you see during the Rumble the aerial shots of the crowd, you'll see all the Red Wings banners because they won a lot. If you don't follow hockey, they won a lot. And a lot of banners up there. Nonetheless, that the reason I talk about the crowd is because during this Rumble match, I don't know if it's just because I watched the '08 Rumble before this from Madison Square Garden, but the '09 Rumble crowd was dead. There were spots where they cheered and they were good for the beginning, they were good for the very end, but there were spots right when all 30 entrants have come out, and there's big names in the ring like the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. The crowd was just dead, sitting in their chair like this, most of them. Whereas in '08 at Madison Square Garden, everybody's standing on their feet. So when you watch Rumble back to back, you notice little things like that, and it kind of takes you out of it. But it didn't take me too out of it because they did some good things booking wise and execution wise, and we'll get to that when I get to the Rumble match. But first, let's start with the opener. It's Jack Swagger defending his ECW title against Matt Hardy, and these two guys told a pretty good story. Jack Swagger dominated Matt Hardy through most of the match, and Matt Hardy sold a leg injury, and in the end, Jack Swagger retained the title after a lot of arm work done and 10:27. So the American retained the title. I felt Matt kicked out of a few pinfalls that he shouldn't have been able to, given the story they were telling. It's a pretty decent opener, but nothing more. I give it 2 stars and a quarter. So that's 2.25 stars going forward. We got Beth Phoenix defending the women's title with Santino in her corner against Melina. Two really good women workers here. They didn't give them that much time. They gave them 5 minutes and 56 seconds, and I felt it could have been utilized a little bit better than it was. But I still give it a star and 3/4. I know I'm strict sometimes, but 1.75 for this match. Santino at ringside was making priceless facial expressions, and the two could work better match than this. I think I set the bar pretty high when I saw who was wrestling, and when I rewatched the match, I remembered that it wasn't what it could have been. When I wrote my review a decade ago, I rewatched the whole thing, and I meet somewhere in the middle. So that's why I keep looking to the left. You're right, or you're right, my left, whatever when it comes. I don't know. I just know the camera's mirror reflection, so don't get caught up on that. All right, the third match was Cena defending his WWE or World Heavyweight Championship against John Bradshaw Layfield, who had Shawn Michaels in his corner. This was during the economy was down and Michaels had to be JBL's manager or whatever storyline, whatever they had. Cena and JBL, they had a terrible match when John Cena first became WWE champion at WrestleMania 21 back in LA in '05, back in April of '05. But they redeemed themselves the next month in May of '05 when they had the I Quit match at Judgment Day. Still one of the best brutal matches. John Cena and JBL hit that one out of the park. So, am I invested in this match? A little bit more now that I remember the Judgment Day match. Unfortunately, this one didn't really have no rules style. This one didn't have no DQ with microphones shoved in your face asking if you quit. This one was just a solid wrestling match. I gave it 2 stars and 3/4. That's 2.75. So it's the highest rated match of the night by half a star. Lawler on commentary asked what now while Cena ducked a clothesline from JBL and then Cena gave him an FU. The boos for Cena were evident when Bradshaw ducked the clothesline as if everyone knew he was going to be getting the FU because Cena was turned on again during this night. A lot of Cena sucks chants. The match actually did surprise me on a rewatch. It was booked a lot better, which is why I gave it a half a star better than the opener. And both were decent matches. It wasn't great, but it did its job. Now we're going to get to a couple good matches here. Jeff Hardy defends the WWE title against Edge, and this has a no DQ storyline. Chavo Guerrero was on the outside. I believe Vicky Guerrero came out too. Uh, Somewhere in this review, I watched this event earlier yesterday, and yeah, Vicky did come out, as did Chavo. In the end, Edge became a WWE champion for the 78th time when he beat Jeff Hardy at 1922. I know it's not the 78th time, but it seems like it. They gave the Edge too many title reigns. You didn't need, like, there's some events where Edge will win the title at, like, in Extreme Rules, and then Jeff Hardy wins it right back from him, and 2 minutes later. Like, there's too many transitional title reigns for Edge. What was he, a 12-time, 11-time world champion? He deserved to be about a 5-time world champion, which is phenomenal when you consider that's what Bret Hart was. That's just one or two less than Steve Austin and The Rock. I mean, come on. Anyway, Edge won the title at 1922, a fun match. These guys went balls to the wall, and I like storytelling and psychology. I like selling. I like all that stuff, methodical paces, but these two guys with this gimmick match, they did what they love to do, and that's wow the crowd. Edge and Jeff Hardy were parts of those TLC matches for years. Why not go against the grain? They know what they're doing, and they do it very well. I rated this match 3.25 stars, 3 stars and a quarter. The main event, the 30-man Royal Rumble match, and Michael Buffer's not back for this one. I guess his heartbreak kid is no longer famous in WWE. Is no longer an approved ring introduction. It was okay for the one time it lasted, but The Undertaker, it just didn't sound right. Anyways, I liked how what did sound right was how this. Look at those segues, how I just go from one thing to the next. I don't expect those to pick up. Don't worry. Not bragging in the slightest bit. I'll be getting better at these reviews as I go. Thank you for sticking with me. It's a new channel. I don't got the fancy equipment. But if you like my channel and you like these videos, I do want to ask you to hit the like button and subscribe because that would be a great way for me to get me off the ground. But now I'll get back to the review. Sorry for cutting it off twice there. The Royal Rumble match, the main event. Rey Mysterio and John Morrison. That's what did sound good. I cut myself off. That's what did sound good about 2 minutes ago when I said that before I went on that rant about liking and subscribing. Rey Mysterio and John Morrison, because of the styles they have. They went on to have a great matches in SmackDown that year in 2009. One in particular, I remember giving that about 4.5 stars because I have a big ass list. I have a list of about 700 matches from North America, and they're all in the 3 stars, 3/4 range to 5 stars. I got to do some kind of countdown on this site for that. I'm sure you guys would like it. Rey Mysterio and John Morrison though started the Rumble, and we had all sorts of aerial maneuvers, but the rest would land on the apron. Carlito came out third, MVP fourth, so you got 3 future stars with Rey Mysterio in the ring, and all of them were upper mid cards. So the Royal Rumble's talent roster was pretty full in the first 10 because not only were those 4 guys in the ring, the Great Khali came out. The 3rd year in a row he's come out in the bottom or the top 5 entrants, like entrant 1 to 5. 3rd time in a row he's done that. Kozlov was after him, and then Triple H, Randy Orton were 8 and 9. So tons of talent in the ring. And this is another Rumble that filled up and it didn't really go back to 1 or 2 guys. It just kept filling up. It's sort of like the Royal Rumble in 2007. But this one, I think that this one just felt better. Other than the climax to the 2007 Rumble, this one felt better in a way of being able to pay attention because they do it on purpose when they're booking the match. You got 2 guys in corner A, 2 guys in corner B, 2 guys in corner C, a few in the middle of the ring, and then in corner D, you got 3 guys or 2 or 3 guys. They make sure that one of the corners is what you want to be watching. The cameras are going to be everywhere to catch everything in case they miss something. But one of the 2 guys in the Rumble should always know who the main camera is going to be on during what spot. That's all they have to go over before the Rumble. I say all like it's not a tedious task. It is. I'm sure it's hard to remember everything, but they got to know their spots. And what I said, this Rumble is a little bit better than '07. I meant by the wrestlers knowing their spots. In '07, it just felt a little bit too congested. In this one, they knew their spots, and I just think it flowed better. I think that's the best way to describe it, to articulate it. All right. So after that, we had Ted DiBiase Jr., Chris Jericho, the Mike Knox, The Miz, Finley, and Cody Rhodes, The Undertaker, Goldust, CM Punk, and we're only at 18. So tons of big names, and the whole bunch of them stopped when the Undertaker came out, and he just laid haymakers on everyone. Goldust, CM Punk, as I said, Mark Henry, Shelton Benjamin. Then the bottom 10 were William Regal, Kofi Kingston, Kane, R-Truth, RVD, a returning RVD, the Brian Kendrick, Dolph Ziggler, Santino Marella, a returning Jim Duggan, and the Big Show. So the Big Show entering 30, they always have a giant enter 30 if it's not surprise entrant. That's usually one of the two ways they go. And they did that here with the Big Show. This match, like I said, it didn't it wasn't congested like the '07 Rumble, but there were times when 13 or 14 people were in the ring. I don't know if that's a record, but it's got to be up there. The 1991 Rumble was like that too. The final four were Legacy, Orton, and Triple H. The game, I think, got rid of both Legacy members before. I say I think because I had just watched the 2010 Rumble and 2009, and I'm only on the '09 review. I believe Legacy members both went out before Orton and Triple H were the last two. And just reading from my review I did a decade ago, and yes, that is how it happened. Orton eliminated Triple H right after he eliminated Cody Rhodes. And Orton ended up getting the win at 58-37 to go to WrestleMania 25 and challenge Triple H for that title in the main event. I say that title as Triple H would go on to become the champion and then retain it at WrestleMania 25 over Orton in one of the biggest disappointments when it comes to wrestling matches at WrestleMania in history. It main evented WrestleMania 25, and when I get to my WrestleMania reviews, I'll elaborate on that. So Randy Orton had the '09 Rumble, and like I said, it was booked really good, and it went by really fast. So that's a good thing. I rate it 3 stars, 3/4. That's a 3.75. For the final rating of this Rumble pay-per-view, a 7.5 out of 10. I judge this event mostly on the Rumble match itself, so that's why you get a 7.5. There's some good to great matches in the undercard, but this one should be remembered for the great '09 Rumble match that Randy Orton won, his first Royal Rumble. So that's that for the Rumble of '09. We'll see you at the Royal Rumble 2010 if you liked it. So hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.